on the way here, I started wanting to throw up. I just felt worse and worse until when I barely made it here to the hospital and just ran straight into the restroom here and just threw up. It did feel more like food poisoning because there wasn't a lot of solids. I was just throwing up liquid, just water. There was nothing really in my system. I had gotten all that out, but I was still throwing up and still having diarrhea with just all liquid. So that really drained me, and I was just getting really worried, like whether if I could even get on a plane today. That didn't really seem likely given how horrible I felt, and the room was spinning after I threw up, and I was just so weak.
Hit it! That's what I'm talking about. Wait!
Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boy.
All right, it's Monday, December 16th. I am here in Utah at the University of Utah Dermatology Medical Clinic. It's a side office. It's not at the main campus. It's a little bit further south, also in Salt Lake. And just have a great meeting with my research doctor here. This time I was only able to see one. The other one, she's quite busy with certain research, so we just keep in touch via emails. But my doctor today, he's super excited about the progress I've made, and just and more so shown by the activities I was able to do throughout the year. 3 trips to Europe, and just being able to exercise a lot more on a daily basis, whereas before I couldn't do that because I would get tendinitis and inflammations internally. So my allergies and eczema isn't just something that shows up on the surface. I have inflammations and reactions internally all the time. So so there are improvements on many fronts, and it was just capped off by the big victory I was able to do by surviving the 2-week cruise in the Mediterranean that I did with my family. And not only did I survive it, I was able to go down at every port and do a lot of walking and exploring. That's the most number of different cities and countries I've ever done in one trip. Usually I just try to do one city in one country just to be safe, just so I can figure out where everything is and not stretch myself too thin trying to adapt to too many different environments. But with the cruise, I was at a different place every single day, different environment, different allergens, but the consistency was the ship. And I was also worried about being on the ship, just being stuck on the ship with so many other people. If there were any bacteria or any other diseases floating around, I could easily get sick, where other people might not get sick as easily. Because of the immunosuppressants I take, I'm more susceptible to diseases. And just the food, I was worried about whether I could eat the food on board the ship, and it turns out I could eat so much more than I ever could anywhere else on the planet. I was eating a lot of stuff that that I would normally be very allergic to, but I was able to eat that on the ship. So just all of these things just shows how much better I am. It's not exactly the lab test or a specific number. It's more about the actual results of my life quality has improved so much. So he was really happy to see that and kind of see my skin and my energy level, my mental clarity up in person today. But speaking of environments and adapting to it, this morning I came in with probably like food poisoning or something, severely wrong, and early this morning, even before coming to the hospital, I woke up around 6 in the morning and just had, it started out feeling gassy, and then my intestines starting to feel more and more swollen, and eventually just sitting on the toilet for the last couple hours before coming here to the hospital for my appointment. And on the way here, I started wanting to throw up. I just felt worse and worse until when I barely made it here to the hospital and just ran straight into the restroom here and just threw up, and then I still had a lot of diarrhea. It did feel more like food poisoning because there wasn't a lot of solids. I was just throwing up liquid, just water. There was nothing really in my system. I had gotten all that out, but I was still throwing up and still having diarrhea with just all liquid. So that really drained me, and I was just getting really worried, like whether if I could even get on a plane today. That didn't really seem likely given how horrible I felt, and the room was spinning after I threw up, and I was just so weak. But pretty soon after I recovered, and now I'm feeling decent, not 100%, but I would say I'm already feeling like 85, 90%. So my flight's in about 2.5 hours. After I wrap up this video, I'm going to head out. So even that recovery of wasn't possible before, and I wouldn't. It usually takes me weeks or months to recover from anything, whether if it's food poisoning or allergies, food allergies, or even just the flu. I mean, at the moment right now, I really don't know what it was that I was reacting to and making me feel so sick. But whatever it was, it used to take me weeks or months to get over it, and now I'm able to get over it within a couple of minutes or a couple hours. And that's another example of how much more normal seems like I'm becoming. And that's kind of the observation the doctor made was, it seems like I'm finally able to do semi-normal people things. Obviously, I'm still pretty far from that, and have so many toxic medications, including the immunosuppressants that I really need to get off of. But just my life quality and energy level and the things I'm able to do, and the slight increase in reliability that I'm able to do it with, that has just been night and day. Like the difference has been night and day compared to where I was 10, 11, 12 years ago when I first started coming up here to Utah to work with these research doctors. So obviously today's morning mishap with throwing up and the diarrhea just shows me how unstable and unpredictable my condition is, that anytime, anywhere, it's possible for me to have a reaction and throw all my plans off course. But the fact I'm able to recover quickly and get back on course so that I can make it back home today, that I don't have to stay here for a couple more days because I didn't really bring enough medication for an extended stay. It's best if I go home today. So, and that's only possible when the chronic illness that I have really is improving, because one of the main problems with chronic illness is instability, which translates into a very unpredictable and unstable lifestyle. Things never work out the way you plan them to, and You're always dealing with chaos and unexpected problems like today. And so things, when you have chronic illnesses, life really spirals out of control all the time. And that's the life I've been living for the past 37 years since I've been born. And now finally, things seems to be starting to turn around a bit with dupixent and with cyclosporin immunosuppressants I take. And I also really have to attribute a lot of it to the low dose naltrexone for my energy level and mental clarity and allergic reactions getting better.